Live. Guys, thanks for coming back. I'm here with MamaLee. She is a Facebook streamer who I have followed for a while now, and she's gotten pretty big. I'm actually very impressed. I've been checking out your streams lately, and you're getting some really good numbers.
Oh,
So when did you start streaming, MamaLee?
it was June 6th of 2019.
Wow, so you're coming up on 2 years then.
Yeah, I am. It's crazy.
That is crazy. So what got you into streaming? So June was when you first started streaming for the first time. Like, what made you decide to do that?
It was actually, to be honest, it was a couple months prior, and I actually got an invite from a friend to come to her house and hang out. So when I went over to her house and we were hanging out, her husband was like, do you guys want to go live? Because he has his own page. And I was like, sure, why not? So her and I hopped on and played some video games, and they showed me where the chat was and stuff. And I just started going, and they had made a couple comments that they thought I was really good at, communicating and playing at the same time. And then once it was all over, I was immediately hooked. I was like, I just had so much fun, and it was fun to play games again and talk to everybody and stuff. So I was super into it. And then they encouraged me to do my own. And then my husband, on the way home, we started talking. He's like, you should do it. And so here I am.
Well, it's turned out like really good. Like it's very impressive just how quickly you built up this huge audience.
I try to stay entertaining. That's the hard part.
That is the hard part. So did you play like a lot of games like leading up to that point, or was this kind of like you were hanging out with them and you just played and it'd been a while, or how did that work?
I had started dabbling in game because it had been when I was a kid. I didn't actually get to play games unless my dad was out of town. And even then it was only for a few minutes at a time because my brothers would want their system back. I wasn't allowed to have when I was a kid. My dad thought gaming was for boys. He has changed his mind.
That's good.
So it was a good 10 years. And then I started dabbling in it again. And then fell off after work, got crazy stressful when I was working 12 stuff. And then I would say about 6 months before I started back, like actually streaming and gaming constantly, we got our daughter a system because to experience everything I didn't as a kid.
Right.
I started, stealing it from her here. It's, released some stress and stuff. And next thing you know, we're all gaming together as a family. And then that happened, and I'm just all in.
That is awesome. That's a really cool story. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, going from kind of casually doing it to now you're like a full-time streamer.
Yeah.
And people love you. I also saw your merch the other day. That is really, I love how like the shirt that I saw was like really, it was simple, but it was like, I don't know, it made the point. Like it had like some different symbols down the side of it, and then the MamaLee logo. I love that. I thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
But yeah, let's dive into some questions then. So you growing up, you said that you didn't get to play a whole lot because your brothers took the system away from you. I'm sure you never saw yourself streaming then into the future, but what hooked you with video games? Like what is it about video games that makes it to the point that you wake up and you think, this is what I want to do? Like this is my daily. Oh, I love the dog.
He won't stop unless I get her.
That is perfectly fine. But what is it about video games that really hooked you and make you? I mean, this is your day job, right? This is what.
Yeah. It wasn't before. I actually was a dental assistant for almost 11 years full time.
Okay.
It was quite a bit. That's kind of what played a part in it is one of the I mean, to me, gaming is similar to reading because it's very easy to take your day to day and the crazy and the stress, or you know, even when you've had a good day or something, it's nice to be able to get lost into something else. Or
Mm-hmm.
you're having a good day and you're with friends or family or whatever the case may be, you can um, have a good time together. So
Right.
for me, it didn't really, it was when I start reading books, I start in my head, I can imagine what the characters look like, what they sound like, how the scenery is. And with games, for me, it's, I don't have to imagine all of it. It's right there and I can just get lost in it. So if
Right.
I'm having a bad day or something along those lines, I can just get lost, you know, in the game essentially. And with work and with how crazy everything was, it was just so nice when I came home and if my kid was on or my husband was on, to just be able to sit with them and either watch them or they would, you know, make me a part of it on purpose in order to, you know, sit there and bond with them. But that's honestly what got me in it. I wouldn't say it was one game in particular that got me back and hooked. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess in all honesty, we sat out there playing Pac-Man. It, or it was when my brother was staying here, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't really have like a room for this. And we started playing Pac-Man, and I just remember how I didn't want to get competitive because it was my kid and my husband, but I
Right.
did, and I was just like, no, I got this. So
I mean, that's the best time though, because you know they can take it. It's not like you're gonna offend them or anything, but that is the best. Family rivalries are the best when it comes to video games. King, one of my followers is in the chat, and he asked, "What kind of games do you play? Is there like a certain genre? I know you're on Nintendo a lot. I know you're big into Zelda. Like, what would you say? What are the type of games that?" And that's actually a two-part question. What games do you play on stream? And then is there a different type of genre that you might play off of stream?
I wouldn't say yes necessarily that I have like one that I kind of like stick to.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically anything that I can play with others.
Right.
On stream, it's a lot of the games that I can play myself, like Breath of the Wild, Link to the Past, a lot of Zelda. Right now, I'm doing Twilight Princess. But I did other things. Like I love Among Us because I get to play with my friends, and I just recently started that. But I
Yeah.
actually started that on my phone. And that was another thing, like when you go to appointments or you go here or there or whatever, you can just kind of hop on and do something.
Right.
Either I would start reading, but reading would be hard to do on my phone because of how small my phone is, and then people would interrupt me. So I picked up Among Us, Mario Kart. I play that constantly. Dead by Daylight. I play that. I did a lot of Resident Evil. A lot of Resident Evil. I've done story-based games, RPGs. I started to dabble in first-person shooter, but honestly, I leave that to the pros because I'm a horrible shot. Everybody's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, you know, I'm not fine.
They're just being nice. No, first person, that is a big change. That's a drastic change. If you didn't grow up with first person, I feel like it's kind of hard to get into.
But I do a lot of story-based games. So I do a lot of RPGs, story-based, that type of thing. But I don't have one that I stick to
Mhm.
personally because I just kind of like them all. I've had games where Call of Duty, I used to pick it up and try and try and try because it was a challenge.
Yeah.
I do love challenges. I do love story type games. But it's not really one genre that gets me every single time. As long as it's decent, you know, I'll play it. Well, I can't say that because I played Call of Cthulhu. I don't know how to say
Yeah, that sounded right.
start to finish. And at first I was like, this game sucks. And then I kind of got into it and I was like, no, I'm going to give it a chance. And then I got hooked onto the story and I actually finished it out. So
Really? Did you like it?
yeah, it was all right. I think the ending kind of left a lot of what actually happened and what you did in the game kind of moot, and it
Hmm.
left you like, but all in all, it was pretty good. It was different, you know,
Yeah.
but
Are
nothing in particular that I stick to, you know.
are there ever any games, and maybe that was one of them, that you kind of tried out just solely for streaming because everybody wanted you to do it? Or do you try to stick to like what you think that like the best content that you think that you could provide because you're actually into the game?
I've had a lot of suggestions over the 2 years about, oh, this is really popular, you should do it.
Yeah.
And normally there have been a couple where I'm like, no thanks. But then there are a couple where it's been recommended and I'm like, from whether it's viewers or friends, and they're like, you should try it. And I try it and I'm like, I like it, but I need to have fun.
Yeah.
If I'm not raging, screaming, laughing, I'm not in it, and I'm not having the best time of my life, and I can't experience it with the viewers, and I really don't like to play. So
Right.
I got into Minecraft big time, big time.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And my views were the best views I ever had. But my daughter played it more than I did, and I didn't quite I know it sounds silly because it's very simple, but I didn't quite understand it to the length that she did to where I could make the most of it.
Hmm.
It was either keep spending the time on that game and giving the same content like that to my viewers, or switch up to something that I kind of grasped easier or had more fun with.
Right.
What I have fun with is not going to be the same as others, but that's why I love streaming, is because if I'm playing something you don't like, you can, there are thousands of streamers out there that are giving you content. And if
Right.
you're bored with them, you can come to me. If you're bored with me, you can go to them. So it's honestly, it's whatever I'm going to have fun with. And I do a lot of games on my channel for the first time. So because again, growing up, I didn't get to really actually experience gaming like everybody else. So a lot of these older style games, everybody's like, why are you doing these older games? I didn't get to. My brothers,
Yeah.
I want to do this. I want to experience this love that people have. And then when I start them and I feel that same kind of love that they've told me that they have, it's so overwhelmingly amazing. So and I have had it where I start a game and I'm just like, and the viewers are like, no, you should finish. But if I'm not having fun,
Right.
I would love to say that, of course, when you're a streamer, you want your page to do well and you want your numbers to do well. But I don't want to do well if I'm not having fun, because
Right.
eventually the viewers and the people that are hanging out with me, they're going to see that and they're going to be like, eh. So,
Right.
got to be fun. Fun.
That's true. I think that's important. And it is good to listen to, your audience and give games a try that you might not necessarily think about. But I think more than anything, and what I really like about your stream is that when people do come to your stream in particular, when they go to watch MamaLee play, they're not necessarily there for the game, right? I mean, they're there for you. And that's what I think that you've kind of developed, that atmosphere that people can just kind of, I mean, it's like turning on the TV, right? It's like, what channel am I going to watch tonight on Twitch, or on Facebook, or whatever, YouTube. They like going back to that person because of that environment that has been created. And I think that one thing I really respect about yours is you've created this family environment. What I've seen that you do include, your daughter, and like you said, you talk about you game with your husband and stuff like that. I think maybe not everybody has that type of environment. So I think, to me, I feel like once you get to the point that you're at, I think that games start to not quite matter as much, if that makes sense. Because I feel like you've already put out your brand, you've already got this persona, this identity. And I think that means more to gamers. So the fact that you even, dabble in games like that, that's really cool. But I think at the end of the day, just make sure you remind yourself that they're there, for you. And I think anything beyond that, you're just trying to reach new people based off of what you play. That's at least how I take it.
Yeah, no, that's honestly nail on the head. I that's how I am with other streamers, because I don't have cable. I got rid of cable. I save so
Me
much,
too.
a lot of
Yeah.
people. And when it comes to content and content creators, here on YouTube, I'll watch you, and I have Yoda Spirit, and I have my actual cousin who he has a YouTube channel, but I'll watch Bailey Sarian. I'll watch the murder mysteries to where I can watch, listen, but it's not so much the content they're putting out as it is the environment.
Right.
I don't want to turn on. I can't stand the news. I have to watch it times to make sure I'm up with the times.
Right.
But I really avoid it, because I want to go. When I turn something on and I get that, sometimes I only get an hour. Sometimes I only get 15 minutes. of just me getting to watch what I want to watch, or me and my daughter, we get to hang out and watch what we want to watch. I want it to be a good time. It's
Yeah.
either we're gonna learn something, or we're going to have fun, or we're going to go through that emotion that the streamer's going through, whether it be like a story that they're telling that may not be fun, but it's, intense, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
I don't want to go to a streamer and put it up for me and my family to watch, for it to just be them doing the same thing over and over again, to the point where not only can they narrate it and everything, but they're not having fun.
Right.
If they're not having fun and they're not having a good time in the chat and talking to the people that are there to experience that with them, I don't want to watch it. I
Yeah.
don't. So, and I think that's what's good about watching your review channel and things like that, is I don't get to react or anything as much as I'd want to, but it's
Hmm.
because I can pop it up and I know my kid and my husband are going to be interested, and we're going to retain that interest
Right.
because of the things that you're saying and how you're talking and your facial expressions and things like that. That's the kind of content I want to be able to do myself. I want to put it out there, people to have fun, or laugh, or whatever the case may be, but be entertained.
Right.
If I'm just sitting here playing the same game over and over again and not really communicating and having fun, to me, what's the point of having a community?
Hmm.
A lot of major streamers out there that I see that have made it big time, if you will, and you can hop in their chat and they've got thousands of people in there commenting, and
Yeah.
they're not commenting to each other, and they sure as heck aren't commenting to the streamer. And it makes me wonder, like, why have that community? Why try to build such a huge base of people if they're not having fun with each other, or at least having fun with you
Right.
know?
Yeah. It is hard, and it does lose the personal touch once they get to that height. I feel like for to even be noticed, you have to subscribe or donate or something like that just to get a comment in, and it's just constant. I mean, oh, I saw my comment for a second, like on Ninja stream, oh, there was my name, I saw it go up, right there real quick. But I agree. I think you know the community, and also I feel like too, growing up, for me at least, I'm 30. We played a lot of couch co-op growing up. We didn't have online. It was more, I was in high school whenever people really started playing online. So to me, and I've said this before, because your stream is one that attracts me to it as well. I feel like people look at a family oriented stream like yours, and not to sound weird, but it's kind of like going into your living room with you and playing that game, like that family atmosphere. And I think people are drawn to that because, maybe they don't have that at home. Maybe they don't have a lot of friends they hang out with. And this is kind of like their social gathering. Um, Life can be pretty intense, and it's just kind of like their time that they can, feel sociable, feel like they can be themselves, kind of jump in and, be a part of that. And I think that's really what a community should be like. And I mean, once you get beyond, to Ninja's level, I'm not sure how he's even capable of doing that, like when you get to that platform. But what do you do? This will just lead into a question. What do you do to kind of maintain that? Because your viewership, I mean, I'm not quite sure how you would have the time to keep up with everyone as well. But what do you try to do to maintain kind of like that small community feel, even though you are growing into a larger platform?
I actually have a really crummy memory, but what I try to do is I try to make it a point to hear what people are saying, or at least read what they're saying. And if
Hmm.
I don't get a chance to at that moment, when I get a free second, and I normally get at least 20 minutes after each stream to myself, and I go back and I read the comments. It's a lot of comments, and some that I've already read that are long, I'll skip over them. But I
Hmm.
comments, and if someone, they had a rough day and something was happening, or they had a great day and something's happening, I just reach out to them and I'm like, hey, I saw you graduated, or you got this on your test. That's really cool. Thank you for coming in and sharing that with us. That's super awesome. And I made sure to have people on my side, because with Facebook streaming, you get to have and it's with a lot of platforms, but you get to have like a moderator type uh, status for several members in your community. And I you like Marcus and Jason and Carmen, and I have a lot of viewers that I talk to daily that are, I would consider friends, and they come in and they, whatever I can't get to at that moment, they talk to the people and they are forming relationships.
Right.
And I think that's a huge important part of being a streamer is when you have a community like that, when you're not able to get to the nitty gritty, you have other people there that are similar to you and similar to how you would treat others. And they hop in there and they do it for you. Because
Right.
when they come in and they see, oh my gosh, this streamer, she's actually talking to their people. They'll, hey, I had a really bad day. And if I don't catch it right then, someone will repeat it. And a lot of the times it's either Marcus or Sweets or Carmen or one of my moderators or one of my close friends. And they, they'll be like, oh man, sorry to hear about that. And I hope it gets better for you. Or, wow, that's so awesome. Congratulations. And when I see it as a constant chat going back and forth, it's super easy to reach over. Take 2 seconds from your stream, reach over and click the original comment because it'll stay continuously tagged in the chat.
Right.
And see what the person says and make sure you respond. And if you miss it, I catch it after the stream because I write them. So I think everybody wants to get to the point where they're, I wouldn't say popular, but I would say successful, like Ninja or like who's the one my daughter watches? Her name's a Pokemon. I don't know. Either way, she seems really sweet, and you can tell she'll pop over and look at her comments and read some of them. But you can tell she doesn't get super personal with her chat or her community. But she's got a small little base that she kind of started out with that she does. And when I look at that, I'm just like, I've always wanted to succeed in anything that I do, but I don't know if I would be okay with getting to that crazy level and not being able to, give back to the community. I think I would have to not necessarily take away from the gaming part of it, but I would do a lot more of the streams where it's like this, where it's one. And I think there are some streamers that should, honestly, in my opinion, take at least 1 to 2 streams out of their day because it's still content, but they should use that time and those 3 hours, 4 hours, or 2 hours, or whatever it is, and just chat.
Yeah.
Read your comments, get to know your community. Those are the people that want to see the content and want to be there for you, and you should care. It's just like a celebrity. The celebrities aren't there if the people don't care.
Right.
Want to watch your content and stuff, then they're not going to care, which is why celebrities have a huge thing about appearance. They have to appear to be, approachable, kind, loving, blah, 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 because it's very rare that you get to connect with a celebrity. So I think when it comes to that, I really do. Facebook is coming up with the option to where you can do just chatting, kind of like Twitch does, or whatever the case may be. And I think they should. And if they're super, super, where it's too crazy, once a month or once a week, just like ease into it, but start opening up dialogue with your community. Talk to your community. Even if you can't do it live while you're on streams, do like an event after your stream where you're on your Discord for an hour, just, chatting with everybody. But, they're there for you. You should be there for them. I mean, you don't want too much of everybody's personal stuff, but you still want to be able to get to know them, They're there hearing your crap all day long. So.
No, I think that is very wise advice, and I wish that people would do more of that. I don't know if it's maybe, I don't know, maybe some people aren't comfortable doing that, or what, or if they feel like they have to have something in front of them and it's kind of like it balances them out so they can look over a chat, and then also, I don't know. But that would be a great thing. That kind of leads to my next question. And King subscribed to you and said, can't wait to watch some more of your videos. Thank you so much, King, for doing that. And please, you will not regret checking out MamaLee. But what made you choose Facebook? There's a lot of platforms out there. I personally stream on Twitch, but I would certainly not support Twitch. What made you choose Facebook, though? What made you?
this is going to sound silly because not a lot of them are there, but my family, and all
Okay.
for me coming from, believe it or not, MySpace.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then transitioning over to Facebook, for me, it was like, it was a platform that I was already using on a daily basis because I have a
Mhm.
lot of family in New York, South Carolina, Michigan, Arkansas, uh, everywhere,
Wow.
everywhere.
Yeah.
So for me, especially being a mother, because again, I'm a mother, it was something that I used all the time. I was sharing pictures of my kid, or it was walking, talking. Now she has an attitude, what she's making, creating, designing. Like I was always there sharing that. And it
Hmm.
was a very user-friendly platform. So I was like, you know what? They offer this. I'm into it. Why stray away and learn something completely new?
Yeah.
Growing up, I wasn't like a lot of the kids nowadays where they literally have YouTube for everything. You
Yeah.
can YouTube everything. If I had that growing up, oh man, I probably wouldn't have burned so many things in my kitchen. I probably chopped so much of my hair, you know. So they have YouTube for everything, and unfortunately, me growing up, I didn't really get into YouTube like that. And
Hmm.
now that I'm branching out and really finding my entertainment from other places than sitting in front of the TV, um, YouTube and Facebook have just been my go-to. I absolutely love Facebook because it takes a community that I already have, and I'm able to share so much more with them in person.
Right.
And then kind of not switching over to YouTube, but starting to dabble in some things over on YouTube, like my mystery boxes or products. Most of the time, it's just mystery boxes or just weird things that I'm eating and things like that, stuff that I'm trying or whatever. I
Yeah.
started to do that because YouTube was like not my yeah, it was like my second in line of entertainment. I
Hmm.
went from always being on Facebook to, well, most of the stuff you click on Facebook brings you to YouTube. So I was like, all right. So I started venturing and checking out YouTube a little bit more, being able to find your content and
Hmm.
the other lady that I mentioned that does the murder mystery stuff. So they're very user friendly, both platforms. For me, Facebook was a lot more user friendly because it's what I was used to. And then I wouldn't necessarily say incentives because I feel like YouTube and Facebook is the same way. You grow with as much effort as you put into it.
Right.
So, um, and for me, Twitch was just like this rabbit hole of craziness that I didn't quite understand.
Yeah.
Facebook, it was like, I'm already there, you know, my family's already here, my friends are already here. Let's keep going with it. And I did. I used to do live videos like how we're chatting right now on
Hmm.
my personal page of just me ranting. Literally, some jerk threw coffee on me at the gas station. I saved the dog. This guy that was on a motorcycle got hit in front of me. I had a crap day at work. Whatever the case may be, I've always been that type that I share how I feel because if I don't and it stays in here, I'm gonna pop one day.
Right.
I just turned it into something that I had fun with, which was gaming. Because nobody wants to hear you complain all the time.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, but that's pretty awesome. I love that, and that makes a lot of sense because even if you have an 80-year-old grandma, which mine in her 80s absolutely loves Facebook, she would be able to find your page. So I totally understand that, and Twitch is a completely different animal from Facebook. That's for sure. They've definitely veered off even from gaming. It's I don't know if you've heard about the hot tub streams and all that have been happening lately, and it's just like what are we doing? Like I'm so confused how we got this far off track. And I'm all for like different artistic abilities, like drawing and music and all that 100%, if that's what they want to stream, but kind of veering off a little bit there. And it definitely has made me question whether I want to continue on Twitch. But I love Facebook. I love checking out your streams because I'm already on Facebook. I can just scroll your live. I can put it down in my corner of my video and still scroll and still listen to your stream. So I definitely love the functionality of Facebook.
Yes.
Sorry, Renee, thank you so much for joining the stream. I appreciate it. And please check out MamaLee on Facebook, Renee, and follow her. Did you have another comment? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just agreeing.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you on that one.
Absolutely. Everybody and their brother has a Facebook. So let's get back to a little bit into your childhood. You said that you didn't play a lot of games, but what game did you always try to get a hold of? You said your brothers were on the system and everything. Whenever you got that split chance to get in there, what did you always want to play?
James Pond.
Really? I've never even heard of that.
Oh no.
Is that a real game?
Yeah.
Okay, it is a real game.
It's called James Pond.
James Pond.
Yeah, Underwater Agent. It's an old. I think it's Atari is what it is.
Wow, what a gem.
But no, actually, old style, not old style, retro. I would say, like, so I wasn't actually allowed to play video games, but my dad was a truck driver, so he would go away sometimes for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
I would get Duck Hunt because my brother.
Yes.
And something about that stupid dog laughing at me made me want to do it more. You know? Yep. So I would say that one, and then well, I think it was PlayStation. Which one was it? I don't remember. It was so long ago. But my brother, they would dictate when my dad wasn't there how long I had to be on the systems, and it would be for maybe 10 minutes or more. But my brother had some friends over, and they were playing Tomb Raider. Mm-hmm. And I loved watching them because it was just fun to watch because I didn't get to watch a lot of TV either. So I was watching them play and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to try it. And I think I'm going to speak up and I'm going to ask about it. And I did. And I was like, hey, can I play this? Because the Duck Hunt, as fun as it is, which he just snuck this in, but I can't.
Perfect.
I have, and that's another thing that I do is I like to play on all the consoles. So we're trying, our ultimate goal is to have every console, and we're so close.
Really?
We have the gun for this as well. We just recently got our hands on an old style TV, and
nice.
I'm gonna figure it out. But
what consoles are you missing right now?
Oh gosh, there's too many to list.
Like, are you going like the real obscure, like nobody had consoles as well, or like just the mainstream?
Those will be last.
Okay.
There's one that was that I saw up at our local GameStop, and my husband's had his eye on it, and it's something from Japan or something like that. I don't remember. And
okay.
Like a multi console, that's like combined, Retron or whatever. But,
okay.
So we do want the originals, and there's a lot that we're collecting. But when I got to sit down, and it was so, in Laura Croft, which one is it? I don't even know which one it was, but she basically is at her parents' house or at her house, and she's got the pointy thing going on.
Yeah.
It's like an obstacle course. So I sat there for a good 30 minutes on this obstacle course with Laura and hearing her talk to you and trying it. And then when my brothers started to, their friends left or whatever, and they wanted it back, they took it from me. Mm-hmm. But I had so much fun in 30 minutes, and I didn't have to have a freaking dog laughing at me. They go behind the tree and then you can't get them.
Right.
But that was just for me, the graphics, it was crazy. And it was like a smack in the face. Like I got to play, Super Mario and stuff like that. I was able to play, but it was only for a few minutes at a time. Mm-hmm. So it gave me that 30 minutes and I had that much fun with it. I kept wanting and thinking about it, wanting to have fun with it and do it. But I just unfortunately never got the chance. So it's kind of hard to say what my first, thing would be or growing up, what was it that I always went back to? But that one was always on my mind. And Duck Hunt, whenever I get the chance, if it's somewhere, I will play it. I'll beat everyone.
It's fun too. One of my favorite things as growing up as a kid, like all the games that I couldn't beat, now I can go back and as an adult and either cheat my way through it or figure out a way to beat it, because there were so many games I remember growing up that I would just play the same level over and over again because I could never beat the next one. So I just go back, Donkey Kong Country, just play the first level, So I love that. Do you remember the first game that you played?
The first game ever that I played, I want to say it was Tetris.
Really?
Was it Tetris? I want to say it was either Tetris or Pac-Man. It was one of the two.
Right.
I want to say it was Tetris. I got such a crumb memory. Yeah, I want to say it was Tetris. And I don't think it was I don't think it was ours. I think it was actually my cousin Daniel's. Because my cousin Daniel had if it came out, he got it and his
Hmm.
got it for him. But yeah, I would say it was Tetris.
Gotcha.
And I remember
Um,
sucking really badly at it.
yeah, I've never been good at Tetris. Even today, they have like the Tetris 99 thing going on the Switch, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
I
I,
tried attempted it and I can get so far and then I'm just like, no.
yeah, it's a little bit. There's like some kind of math involved, and I don't know. I don't want any part of that. I was not good at that. Um, so yeah, I have to ask this question. It's like my favorite question that I ask. Um, if you had to choose one game that you could only play for the rest of your life, you had to do it, what would it be? It's a very hard question too, but you don't have to think too hard on it.
I would definitely say it would be one of the newer ones that I've started, which was Breath of the Wild,
Yeah, that's a great choice.
because I'm sure there's others out there that are very similar that I could start and try, but
Mhm.
I really feel like it just has so much that you can do. It's so open world. There's so much freedom in what you're capable of doing and how you do it, but the stories are still there. Everything's still there, and you can go at your own pace. And no matter what you do, for me, exploring is what keeps me in and what keeps me hooked. And that's what has me going back for more. So if I could only pick one, and then that was it, as much as I love, you know, Pac-Man and Duck Hunt and all of these fantastic Mario games, you can only do so much and you can only go so far.
Right.
And it's just repeating itself over and over again, which is fine because I could do that all day.
Yeah.
But I think if it was that and I had to get stuck with it, I would go with Breath of the Wild, because I feel like it's just there's so much to do that you can never stop finding new things.
Right. Yeah, that's a great choice, and that is such an overwhelming game. I remember starting it, and then I got overwhelmed and never played it again. But I'm not a huge Zelda fan. Growing up, I didn't really play Zelda. I don't know why. And a lot of video games for me is nostalgia. So the fact that I didn't really grow up on it, it's kind of hard for me to get into it now. But I've never heard a bad thing about Breath of the Wild. I'm sure I would even enjoy that one. Um, but yeah, so what's the hardest game that you've ever beaten?
I didn't beat it. Thinking trying to pick it up again, but Contra.
Okay, yeah.
So everybody's like, that game's so hard. And I'm like, let me see what you're raging about. And so I started it and I remember spending several hours and then a few days later spending several hours. And I was just like, I want to just start chucking things. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't. There's people where I've literally watched them and they make it look like a breeze.
Hmm.
Like I could watch my brother Johnny play it and he can do it with his eyes closed. The kid loves the game.
Right.
I tried it and I can't. I mean, it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I can't do it. It makes me rage. It, but it makes me hate that I can't do what I want and progress. And I suck at it.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that like if you're struggling on a level, you don't give up until you beat it? Like it's just a nonstop thing, or what do you put it down for a while and try to come back to it?
I'm a little bit of both. Depending on the game and depending on how difficult it is, sometimes I will do the lean forward with the blitz
Yeah.
and I'll keep going and going and going and going and then I'll breathe and then go 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 go. And then I've had others where I literally even on stream where I've looked at the people and I've looked at this game and I'm like, I can't do this
Hmm.
because it's gonna make it to where it's not fun and I want to come back and finish it. So
Right.
put it down and walk away. So I'm a bit of both around that one as well. So
Yeah. Did you ever play, I think for me, did you ever play the Super Nintendo Lion King game?
no,
It's awful.
no, I'm
It's
starting to try it.
Yeah.
And then looking at it, it looks like, oh, it's easy. You just go.
Yeah. It's Lion King, right?
Yeah, but no, no.
Yeah. It's unbelievable how hard they made some of those games back in the day on the Super Nintendo. I mean, it was for kids. I was talking to one of my guys on here as well, the 24, and he said the hardest game that he had ever played was a Barbie game.
Oh
And
yeah.
he's like, I could not believe how hard it was Barbie, and I could not, like, even as an adult, I can't beat it. And I'm like, it's insane how much, how much video games have changed over the years. Because to me, that's
What was the other one that I used to love that game, and it was Contra was one of the ones where I would try and then put it down and walk away and try and put it down and walk away.
Mhm.
Butthead. There's a Beavis and Butthead video game. I remember seeing it and I was like, Beavis and Butthead, anybody could play that. It's just it's two guys, walking around talking about farting and stuff. And then I actually started skateboard, and it's actually very difficult.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Then because all you had to do was just cruise over this one lump, and next thing you know, I keep hitting the same lump over and over again. I got this. This is so simple, but it was actually it was pretty hard.
Yeah, sometimes it's the game mechanics too as well that make it more difficult just because it's just hard to control. But some of those games, I don't know what they were thinking when they designed them.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So do you like collecting rare video games? And if you do, what would you say? I know it sounds like your husband loves to collect.
Are you kidding?
What is the most? Oh, that's amazing.
This whole room is full. It used to be very simple, very plain, and now
Yeah.
Covered in.
It's a perfect backdrop for your stream. So I mean, that's awesome.
This-
What would you say is the most rare game that you have?
Rare game. I mean, I have ET, but I know
That's pretty. I don't know. That might be it right there.
I have ET, which I thought was pretty cool, but I also have which he is a huge collector, so I have to be very careful because
Yes, of course.
we're the kind of couple when it comes to gaming that it's not mine and it's not his, it's ours.
Right.
Some of these games, when you want them, they are so old and hard to find because people didn't care for them, that when you do find them and you can still play them in the actual console, it's money. So sometimes it takes a lot of side jobs and bonuses and things like that. But
right.
We've got Earthbound.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Money.
Yeah, some of them
there's memories and love.
Exactly. Exactly. Just the sitting there and playing and who you were with at the time.
Yes.
Because like you said, you didn't really get to play online with each other. You had to sit there with each other, pass the controller, and I got this part, or you got this part, or
right.
Whatever the case may be. But we've got Earthbound, which is one of them.
Oh, I love the display case too. That is perfect.
Isn't that neat?
Yes.
Super, super cheap.
So clean.
And then, of course,
that's just my favorite.
This one's his favorite.
I don't even know if I've heard of that. What is?
It's Final Fantasy. They have
okay.
A chocobo little guy. He's super rare. And then my favorite.
Don't touch it. Don't breathe on it.
Don't breathe on it.
Me, I like to touch.
Oh my goodness.
But
I can see what that is. Oh, Ocarina of Time. Wow. That's incredible.
This is my favorite.
Is that mint? Like, is that a 10? Because that looks like a 10.
No.
My childhood copy.
That's awesome. And it makes it that much more valuable too.
It is a CIB, complete in box.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is super nice. And I think that's the one thing that when it comes to nostalgia, there's nothing like having, the real deal where you can, touch them and because now you just hit a button and then everything turns on and then there's nothing like popping it in and it booting up and waiting for the excitement or the little intros that they do and things like that. Here's another one. This one I never played. This is one of his favorites.
Ooh, Alien Trilogy. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever played that either.
There's a lot of games where it's like, as a kid, you could only play something and a lot of things that were marketed to us that we played were what was popular at the time. The company pushing it on children, but there's so many other games out there that are just as fun and as nostalgic as anything else, but you don't know until you pick it up, because the graphics that you grew up with are the same graphics done with the game, and you absolutely love them.
Yeah.
I never got to do this one, Breath of Fire.
Ooh, man, the condition of these is just blowing me away.
First one and the second one. So when you were talking about your grandmother, his grandmother, a lot of the games that we were able to obtain are from her. She kept them in really good condition, and she is to this day still a very hardcore gamer.
That's amazing.
So obsessed. And when she started to release some of these from her, grasp, it went to us, because she knows that, like I said, when it comes to the older style games, like you said, that nostalgia feel that you get, you really get it from the actual consoles themselves and things like that. And when you treat the stuff well and you take really good care of it, my kid is going to be able to play it. And if you her how to take care of these things, her kids are going to be able to play it. So nowadays it's crazy, because I have like a million games on it. I have one box, which is the PlayStation 4, and I have so many games on this thing.
Yeah.
And when you're bored, you can just scroll through the whole library. And to me, convenience and the storage and the practicality of having everything in one little spot is great. But, the clutter can be overwhelming. But when you actually look at everything and you get to touch it, and you get those flashbacks of when you were a kid, or who you got, because again, I didn't get to do a lot of it, but sitting there watching my brothers do a lot of it, it reminds me of that time where we all got to sit together and we laughed at certain things, or we laughed, raging and chucking a controller at the other one. And it just reminds you of those times, which is just,
it is almost sad how the digital age is kind of taking over, and we are I think you do kind of lose that appreciation of the games. Like, you guys obviously value the physical copies of them, and it's just, I don't know, I do videos on the Xbox Game Pass, and it's really cool, but at the same time it's kind of like Netflix for Xbox, and it's like sometimes if you have too many options, I think you lose that appreciation of a single game. So it is kind of sad. I agree. And I think the more that we push into that, though, the more you guys' collection is going to be valuable. Marcus said I could get lost in their collection, and I 100% agree. You guys have a fantastic collection, but I love that you are raising your daughter in a way that you are allowing her to play like these old school games and stuff. And letting her see like how you guys grew up, and there is a connection there as well when you are playing with somebody in the same room, that it's not the same as talking over a headset. And I think as a society we are losing a major social aspect, because gaming is so big, and face-to-face interaction will forever be much more impactful than talking over a microphone. So it's kind of sad in a way, but it is convenient. For sure.
It's like that, but there are a lot of people who are very sorry, that's my dog's collar.
You're fine.
They have social anxiety, or face to face is hard for them, depending on if they have a disorder or not.
True.
Unfortunately, with digital, it's really a double-edged sword, because you do have the people who are like me, who have that connection with others, and which is why I have such a huge community, because I love people. I really, but then you have others who, they do well with those big pages that never talk to them. They do well with my page just hanging out in the background and not saying anything. They do well with gaming online, because they're lurkers. They don't want to have to touch people. They don't want to have to look at people, talk to people, or feel out of their own environment. And for them, again, digital being a double-edged sword, because they can pop in a game and talk to whoever they want. They can make, and there's been, oh gosh, I actually got to meet two people that just were part of my stream, who I started talking to more, gaming off stream with. talking to FaceTime, all of that, which that has changed the game completely. It's been a beautiful thing to be able to connect with these people and form these beautiful friendships. There's a girl, her name's Mo, and she started out as just a viewer, like, hey, I'm here, you know, cool stream. And next thing you know, we're friends, and she planned a visit to come to Florida and actually meet me for the first time. So it's like I said, it's a double-edged sword, because I really feel like a lot of people, if they're not sociable, they get stuck in those games to where they're not playing with people that they know. They're not making real friendships, and they're sucked in, and they're doing the same thing over and over again, and they're not really experiencing life.
Right.
They're experiencing what it means to connect to other people.
Right.
But those like me, who I want to get out, I want to go talk to people, but I can't. And being able to do this has really made so many friendships and connections for me that I used to be, online is just, it's rotting everybody's. And now it's to the point where, you know, when you experience it quite a bit and you make those friendships, that you realize that as long as you're doing it the right way, it can be a good thing. But I like that. I've played Breath of the Wild so many times, and we still have an unopened copy of it for the collection. You know?
Yeah.
I still want this. I want to feel it. I want to know that I have it. I want to look at the artwork that they put so much time and effort into and be like, yeah. And then, but I also love the games like Dead by Daylight or Among Us or Mario Kart, where you pop it in and you can just hang out with your friends, you know?
Right.
You don't have to do my hair. I don't have to do I don't have to do that in real life, but I'm going to do it anyway. But I don't have to worry about that. I can come in here in my pajamas looking like a hot mess and pop on, and my friends are there, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like reading a book. Some people prefer to feel the pages turn. Other people can read it on, you know, the Kindle Fire or whatever.
Or they want to add to them. Oh.
Yeah, that's true. Audiobooks are very popular as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't keep you too much longer. I know you have an 8 o'clock stream. I feel like I could talk to you like all night, so I'm gonna like wrap it up. Let's see. If I had to pick one, I choose. Okay. What advice would you give to, and this will be my final question because I know I pushed you a little bit. What advice would you give to first-time streamers who want to get started? And like, what advice do you wish you had known when you started almost 2 years ago in June?
I would say, first above everything is have fun. You want to make sure that you know, it's kind of like when I got married. It's not going to go, you have this thing planted in your head and you think it's going to go this way. Don't lose your mind and don't get upset if you start a stream and it doesn't go exactly how you planned. Have fun. That's the most important thing. And if you try to start something and it doesn't really go through, keep trying and make sure that you're having fun. Because if you're not having fun, no one's going to have fun, and it's a mess.
Right.
And I would say the second thing is, don't bury yourself in numbers. You know, that it's you can't just become a huge success overnight unless you're a child of somebody who's already a success. And a lot of the times that's still very hard work. So you have to, you're not just going to pop on and 3 months later you're going to be famous. Like that's not how it is. And if that's your drive, then more than likely you won't succeed. You want to have fun, and you want to pay attention to your numbers and make sure you're keeping up with it, but don't bury yourself in it. If you pay too much attention, I only had 10 viewers the other day. I must have done horrible. I was awful. This wasn't good. No, if you get in and you played, doesn't matter how many viewers you had, as long as you're having fun.
Right.
If you're having fun and you're putting up content, they'll come. And it's not an overnight thing. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of hard work. And even everything that I have, my setup is so amazing. It is so awesome. I'm very blessed. But it took me almost an entire year to have half of what I have now. So it's time, and people need to set realistic goals. There we go. Set realistic goals and have fun.
Yeah. That's absolutely great advice. And I definitely think as well, I don't know if people realize, but I'm sure it's like you are the face of MamaLee, obviously, but it's like a family commitment too. Like I'm sure your husband's heavily involved. Like you said, your daughter likes to pop in once in a while, and it is kind of like a group effort. And you said you had moderators and everything, and I think that there's a lot of moving parts as well. I think that if people do want to hop on and be like, all right, I'm going to be just like MamaLee, you know, there's so much to it. I think people should also understand it's not just sitting down, turning on a camera and playing a game. It's not like that. So just like you said, be realistic about it. I think that's fantastic advice. And I'm always listening to, I definitely would always, I'm trying to learn how to become a better streamer myself. And I get stuck in the numbers as well. I think a lot of people do. But yeah.
It's hard. There's a lot of pressure out there if you're going to peak. But I think as long as you're, you know, you're having fun and you're making sure that you're doing it the right way and you put the time into it, you'll be all right. You'll be okay. And there is a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that people don't understand. But it's different for everybody. So what works for me is going to work differently for somebody else.
Right. Absolutely. I have to ask too, is your daughter going to be a streamer when she gets older? Does she want to be like MamaLee?
Well, I mean, she's kind of like I am in a way, but she's also very, I work every day and I'm so much better at not stuttering, and she is working on it as well, but she has a very bad stutter. She's very shy. She doesn't like to be in front of the camera. So if anything, she is an amazing, I mean, absolutely amazing artist.
Oh, wow.
He can draw it. People will be like, did you really do that? And she's like, yes. So I think if she wants to stick with gaming, which I'll support her obviously in anything she does, but as long as she's not like a serial murderer, then you know.
You might not support that.
Yeah. But with gaming and she were to make that a career, she would be more behind the scenes in the art of it all, because she is very talented child.
There's a major avenue for that in gaming, that's for sure. That's awesome. All right, well, thank you so much, MamaLee. I would love to have you back on because I've still got like a million questions. But everybody who's hopped in the chat, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Please check out MamaLee on Facebook. I will post all of her information down below. She's about to stream right now, so you might as well go head over to that. I will definitely be checking it out. Thank you guys again. MamaLee, thank you so much for taking the time to hop into my little channel, take time out of your day. Even she pushed her stream back for me, guys. So, I mean, I appreciate that so much. But again, I would love to have you back on, and keep doing what you're doing. It's fantastic, and you are very much appreciated in the community.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I had a blast. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We will see you next time, and go check out MamaLee.
Bye.